Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for TWiT specials is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com. This is TWiT Live special number 208, recorded October 16th, 2014. Apple's October 2014 announcement. Leo Laporte here. Mike Elgan, Sarah Lane will join us. Andy Ihnatko is on the horn from his home. He's not at the Apple event. Renee Ritchie is. Kevin Toffel is. Perhaps we'll hear from them a little later on. Hi, Andy.
Hello, Leo.
Thank you for joining us.
It's nice to be attending one of these events where I've got like a real keyboard in front of me, and I've got a beverage, and you know this is. I'm saying that there are pluses to both ways of covering.
Absolutely, it's like going to a Super Bowl game. You get the excitement and the fun of being in the stands, but you really can't see the game very well. Certainly not as well as you can see it at home. And we'll see the game live. Apple is streaming it this time again. And I think we decided that they had to, because if they didn't, it would look like capitulation and after their last stream failure.
Of course, you need to be running Safari on Mac
as always,
or iOS, but our stream is universally available.
There's also, they added it at midnight tonight, an Apple TV channel for Apple events. So so the real question is, we've heard the tagline. We'll go to the event as soon as they go live, but we've heard the tagline. What was it in the invitation? It's been way too long.
Way too long.
And
Sounds like teenage speak almost.
Sarah Lane has arrived.
It's been totally too long.
We're live now, Sarah. We speculated on TWiT. In fact, Nilay Patel was adamant of The Verge that he believed it was new Macs. And I think Mark Gurman at 9 to 5 Mac confirmed that with a tweet saying, you notice the little bit of the logo they're showing on the invitation looks the same as the 30-year Macintosh announcement.
Yep. And we saw a picture of Steve Jobs in the hallway going into the event with an original Mac.
Yeah, it's his bow tie Mac announcement. On the other hand,
go ahead. I can't remember what the decor was like last year, but there was already historical photos like that in there.
Yeah, that may not mean anything.
Okay.
Yeah. On the other hand, what has truly been way too long is the Apple TV.
Right.
And you thought, because of some announcements today, that may be what we're going to see. Tell us about it.
It wasn't my original idea, but I saw it flying around with some people that I respect on Twitter, which is that the fact that the HBO announced a video-on-demand service, and then today...
Minus
CBS,
your cable company.
Exactly. You don't need a subscription. And CBS...
And CBS followed that up the very next day, which are both announcements that don't make 100% sense in and of themselves, and they invite derisive laughter. Oh, great, people are going to spend $6 a month for something they get for free. But if it becomes part of an Apple TV package, well, maybe that's not quite so silly.
And somebody told me, he said, and he sounded like he was, I won't say his name, but it's somebody who's fairly well connected, and it sounded like he knew something that he believed by the next few months of next year, by Q2 next year, apps would come to Apple TV. And maybe this is the announcement.
Yep.
It may not be till next year, but it may be the announcement. And I think that would make sense, because you get HomeKit. We know that HomeKit is in some of the software for Apple TV, you know, kind of hidden. You'd have to add some hardware, perhaps, to support the Zigbee or whatever standard they're going to support. But also, it would make a lot of sense for CBS and HBO to say, hey, we're going to go it on our own with apps. If they knew that Apple today were going to say, we're going to have apps, and these apps will be big content providers like CBS and HBO. They want to say that preemptively. They don't want to look like Apple is scooping them.
And guess what? You know, I mean, even Amazon came out with a TV offering. Google yesterday announced its Nexus TV. So, you know, it's for Apple to go as long as they've gone without any peep about Apple TV, and then to have an event like this without mentioning it again seems almost impossible.
But the really big deal wouldn't so much be apps. It would be the ability to put something on an Apple TV without having to come up with this really huge deal with Apple, without having to require Apple to push your app to all these devices. Simply make it an option, just like on Roku, where if you want the Lifetime TV app, you simply go to the store and you download the free, or you select the free Lifetime TV app.
Expanding continuity, in other words. Kind of. Yes? Handoff?
That would also be a positive. That was one of the big deals that Google was talking about with Android. That both Android and Microsoft have said that we want to create a seamless phone to tablet to desktop experience, and that's going to have to, if they pull this off, this is something that Apple's going to have to pull off as well. And the ability to use that big, huge honking screen that's in everybody's living room is going to be a big plus for continuity.
And if you're talking about apps, you're talking about games, and Apple games on the TV screen is going to be huge.
We'll remind you, as we do each time we do these live events, that Apple has its own live stream at apple.com/live. That stream will be minus our commentary, so no need to complain. If you don't want to hear us, go to apple.com/live. What you're going to get here is some of the Apple stream with our commentary on top of it, and that's our value add for the day. But if you don't like it, no need to complain. Just go to apple.com/live. Apple's going to do the live blog again. You see they have the video there, but they also, well, no, I don't see the live blog. Maybe they're not going to do that.
Have we agreed that if our stream is behind what the live blogs are posting, that we won't?
We can say
jump on it.
We can jump on it.
Right.
Sure.
Because I've done that in the past.
Follow the Twitter.
You know, I don't actually
follow the Twitter.
Hear myself. I don't know if this is turned all the way down or not. Yeah, I don't hear. Oh, yeah, no, that's better. Thank you.
We're still waiting. It is after 10 now, and Apple has a big copyright logo saying don't replay this, but
they're waiting for the translator from Macau to be ready.
Yes, and the truck schedule is still...
We're joking around about Apple TV and other things, but of course we do know this is going to be an iPad event. That's really what it's probably its main thrust will be. The Apple also will probably tell us when we can expect the new version of OS 10, 10.10 Yosemite. And we do expect Apple Pay will be kind of debuted. They said it would happen in October. This is the time to do it.
That's right.
We also saw a leaked internal memo from Walgreens saying that it would have Apple Pay up and running by Saturday. So now's the time if you're going to do it. It would also maybe explain the Thursday day for an event. We talked about this on Mac Break Weekly, Andy. I don't think Apple's ever done a Thursday event, not in our memory anyway.
Yeah, I can't remember one.
Yeah. Looks like they've gone black. So, here we go. This sounds like...
Can you feel the excitement?
This sounds like tape from another event. Perhaps the Mac launch? No, September 2014. I remember that. It's been way too long.
Yeah, it's been...
That was last month. And here's the countdown. All over the world. They do that at each Apple store as they open at 8 a.m. local time. It's a good moment. We were at the Apple store in Santa Rosa for that last month. That was fun.
How many employees do you think were there?
Of ours?
Yeah.
5.
Well, no. I mean, in the Santa Rosa.
Oh, quite a few. They, in fact, I have a video of it somewhere. They all line up as if they're a football team. There were at least 24.
I wonder how much... what kind of pep talk they get beforehand. Like, if you don't look like you're having the best day of your life,
you are.
You're not going to be working here tomorrow.
Yeah,
because you never get the eye roll employee in the back.
Yeah.
So this is interesting. I don't know if they're not going to do the live blog. It looks like they're not. They're just, all they have embedded on their page is video at this point. So maybe Dan Rayburn was right that the problem with the feed last month, I don't think he was, but he said the problem was that it was embedded on a page with JSON and JavaScript running. Although there were problems on the Apple TV video, same problems. Okay, everybody bought iPhones, yeah. Now it's time to buy something else.
We get it. You sold more than 18 of them. We're very proud of you. You're so much better than BlackBerry, aren't you?
You see what a small venue that is. There's Tim Cook taking the stage, Apple CEO.
Good morning. Thanks, everyone, for joining us this morning. It's been an incredible year and tremendously busy already, but we've got a few more things to share with you before we close out the year. As you saw from the video, we had an amazing reception to the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus launch. The stores were absolutely electrifying with energy. It was unbelievable. There was no better place on earth to be. These phones are the best phones we have ever created. And the reviews have been off the charts. It doesn't get any clearer or any better than this review from one of the industry's preeminent reviewers. Walt Mossberg said simply, it's the best smartphone on the market.
But he's never said anything
else.
Yeah. Imagine if they came out and said, well, it's not our best phone we've ever created. The last one was better, but...
Now, with great reviews and the great customer response, it's no wonder that these iPhones have become the fastest-selling iPhones in history.
Yeah.
And
Walt gets his reward each year.
the first 30 days, we have set a new high-water mark for the most orders taken. And I don't mean by a little, by a lot, a whole lot. Our rollout around the world is going well. In fact, by the end of this week, we'll be in 32 countries. And just in a few hours from now, we will launch in China. With support for
Somebody
No
whistled.
clapping.
Yeah. Somebody whistled.
iPhone 6 and 6 Plus customers will have access
that's a big
to
country.
China's fastest networks on all 3 major networks. This is the very first time we've launched a new iPhone on all 3 networks, and we're doing it perfectly aligned to the early stages of China's huge 4G rollout.
Interesting, they've got the
We couldn't be
Chinese
more
flag
excited
symbolism
about
behind
this,
him for the
and I would
photographs
tell you
in
that the
advance of the Chinese
pre-orders,
rollout.
as you might guess, have set a new record. We can't wait to get started. With what's going on in China, what's going on here, and the other countries around the world, and all of the reviews and the customer response, this is our biggest iPhone launch ever.
Superlatives continue. Biggest, best, thinnest.
So that's a quick update on iPhone. Now, the iPhones also get the benefit of another major announcement that we made last month. And of course, I'm talking about Apple Pay,
Yay.
which is an entirely new
I want
way
it.
to pay for things in stores and in apps. Apple Pay is built right into Passbook, integrated right in, and everything you need is built into iPhone 6 and 6 Plus.
Well, except for iOS 8.1,
It's an easy,
which we expect
it's
to see today.
secure,
Talking about
and
hardware.
yes, it's a private way to pay for things. We think that it is going to be profound. We're getting going in the United States. We've got all 3 major networks supporting us, and we have all of the nation's top banks supporting us. And just since last month announcing this, we have signed another 500 banks. They will be rolling out support later this year and early next year, showing the
get credit unions,
support
for
and
instance.
the enthusiasm
Steve
around
Gibson talked a
Apple
little bit
Pay.
about how this
We've got
system
many
works on
of the
security now
largest retailers in the
on
country
Tuesday. It
supporting
is
us, and
based on a
you might
system that
guess
has been
since
around
we
for some
announced
time
last
that was
month,
created by the
there's
Eurocard,
even more
MasterCard,
that will be
Visa
rolling out
Yeah.
between now and
alliance.
the end of the year. Now, Apple Pay also works
But of course never took
online
off in the US
apps.
anyway.
You can buy
Right.
products and
It
services
has been
right
used
in the
more
app.
in more widespread fashion in other
And
countries.
it's pretty simple. Find those pair of Beats headphones you want, and boom,
First Beats
you
mention.
bought them. I've been wanting these a long time, and Jimmy
AT&T
won't
has
give me a pair.
stopped pushing Beats as part of its subscription
We've got a
plan.
lot of people behind us here as well. A lot of great apps and a lot of great developers.
Surprised Tim Cook isn't wearing
And,
pink Beats.
As you might guess,
These
since
are
last
retailers,
month, many more people have committed
Staples,
to roll
and
out between
Airbnb,
now and the end
StubHub,
of the year.
OpenTable, Target.
So we believe Apple Pay is going to be huge. It's going to change the way we pay for things.
I don't really
And I'm
understand
excited to
how
announce
Apple Pay
today
will help my
that we
Uber
are beginning on Monday.
account. Because Uber
So
already
Apple Pay
has
launches
my
on
credit card.
Monday now. That's the first we've heard the actual date for this.
The journey begins.
Yeah, he mentioned Lyft, but not
Can't
Uber
wait.
in the.
No, Uber was up.
Was it up there?
Yeah, it was. But
We announced
I
an
don't understand
entirely
why
new
that would be
app.
Well, it's-
helpful.
Yeah, it's probably not for stuff like
Of course,
that.
I'm talking about Apple Watch. It's the most personal device we've ever created.
We can't tell if Tim's wearing his
You can
because
wear
his
this
sleeve is
powerful
pulled down.
technology right
Doesn't
on
look
your
like he is.
wrist, and it's just as much about personal
Makes sense for them to launch Apple Pay on Monday,
as
by
it
the
is
way,
about
not on the weekend
functionality.
when it's going to be more.
Much better.
We've
Yeah,
had
there was
great
some question why
reception from the
Walgreens
tech
would do it on the
community.
busiest shopping day of the week.
But we've also had great
Monday makes a
reception
lot more
from the
sense.
health and fitness community and by people who know a lot about fashion and style, even more than I do.
Looking good, Cook.
He's doing shtick.
Little
Looking good.
self-deprecating humor. That's good. Although he does look good.
He looks very nice.
In fact,
Nice haircut.
this month, the Apple Watch is on the cover of Vogue China.
Wow.
We are really proud of this. It's an incredible image, and we're so proud to be associated
Yeah,
with Vogue China.
China.
Now, as we showed you last month,
It's the best China
we
we've
have
ever
been
shipped.
working with selected third-party developers on Apple
Mainland
Watch.
China is best China.
Well, we don't say
And
mainland China.
like
That's
BMW,
that's
like
implying there's
American
other
Airlines,
Chinas.
like
There's
Starwood, and they've
very
created some really
important
unique
distinction.
personal
It's interesting. They're mentioning the
experiences for
same
Apple
developers
Watch.
they mentioned during the keynote,
I'm
not
pleased
new
to
people
tell you
so far.
today
Can't wait for the Apple
that
Watch.
we
Does
have
anyone know where we can
developed
get some Sapphire?
Watch Kit, where many other developers
Here's
can
an
join this
SDK.
party. And we are rolling out Watch Kit next month in time for our developers to really do some fantastic work before we begin shipping Apple Watch. We can't wait to see what amazing experiences they'll come up with. Now, Apple Watch will be shipping in early next year, and every day I look forward to that day.
I bet he does. See what a small crowd it is. I mean, it sounds like a comedy club more than a stadium.
But it also means fewer Apple employees in the crowd usually.
iPhone 6 Plus, Apple Pay, and Apple Watch. They join an incredible
let's get a big
product
iMac on
lineup,
that
one that I
stage
would
there.
call our strongest
Probably Retina.
product lineup
just slid in.
ever. Each of these products are not only individually the best in
Showing a
class
slide
within
with
its
the watch,
category,
the phone, the tablet, the laptop,
but
and
they've
the
been
desktop.
designed
Not
to
the Mac
work
Pro.
seamlessly together. And this is made possible by the most advanced operating systems on the planet.
Surprised they don't have a Mac Pro.
iOS 8 and OS X Yosemite. Today we've got some terrific updates on both of these, and to tell you all about them,
Probably
I'd
just
like to turn the
focusing on
stage over to
displays.
Craig Federighi. Craig?
Craig is
Come on
back.
out, Craig.
We missed him the last one.
Yeah, he sat in the front row, but didn't get to talk. But he knew his time would come.
Everybody has
Time for
gone
OS talk.
classy dark
I'd like to give
shirts.
you a quick update. Now, iOS 8, of course, is a major new operating system for iPhone, iPad, and iPod Touch. And the early reviews have been just great. The Wall Street Journal
Joe
said that
Anastar,
iOS
nice
8 pulls
tip of the
out
hat.
ahead of the competition by leveraging
Craig is the
greatest
senior vice
strengths
president of
the iPhone,
software engineering,
its
so
app, and its
naturally this is
ecosystem.
his
But what's
stuff.
even cooler is just how many of our customers are already using it. You can see that in just under 4 weeks, nearly half of iOS customers are running
Kind of
iOS
stuck
8.
at 40%,
Now, if you
40
consider
plus
that in
percent.
relation
That's
to iOS
actually
7,
lower than typical.
That means that 94% of
I wish they
iOS
stopped
users are
using this
running an
metric 'cause
operating
it's
system
not-
that shipped in
You need a
just
lot
over
of paragraphs
the last
behind that
year.
footnotes to
Which
explain what it
means
really
they're getting
means.
the latest
Still a lot
features
better than
and
Android,
all the
so-
latest
Well,
security
that's their-
Yeah, but Android is so completely
Now,
Now,
different.
the situation
It's like
with other mobile
You're talking-
platforms.
the other
talk about
percentage
a
are
lot
people who don't want to upgrade their iCloud
So,
accounts.
Right.
When you
Yes.
look at
Yeah,
People
Android
who do not want to lose all of their
the vast
photos.
majority of customers are running an operating system that's more than 2 years old.
Yeah,
and if
but
you
you're also
focus
including
just
people who got
on
their phones for
KitKat,
$5 and they
the
just
latest
want a cheap smartphone.
I
It's not
have to
designed
point
run
out that this
4.4.
traditionally Apple just does not, had not in the past done this head-on competitive comparison.
iOS 8
Jobs would
nearly
maybe
doubled that
throw in a little
in just
dig.
26
Yeah.
days.
But of late,
Yeah.
with toxic health stew and so and frankly, it makes you feel more like Apple's running scared than that Apple has a story to tell.
Yeah.
Well, I won't put it that hard, but this is not
Now,
terribly
iOS
useful
8 is a
information
major
to
feature
anybody
which
but
solves
analysts. And even
all
an
of our
analyst would spend about 3 pages.
Things like
Right.
tap
Talk about the
to
differences
talk
here.
And easy location sharing in messages. Our new QuickType keyboard with smart predictive typing suggestions. And family sharing that makes it easy to share
It
your
is a little weird when you hear
calendars,
a very
your
long
to-dos,
recap
your
like this of
photos,
stuff that
and
they've
even
already
your
announced
purchases
twice.
on the App Store and the iTunes Store.
I think it's been far too long.
But what really sets iOS 8 apart is all the incredible technologies that it puts in the hands of our developers. It's amazing what they've done with them.
Just realized that
Let's take a look.
in the David Bowie song China Girl, there's the song, it's been so long, so long, so long.
Updates to the App Store with applications.
Another China reference.
Interesting.
Via extension.
I might have
But not,
printed.
it's been way too long.
With iOS 8, when you swipe down from the top of your phone to get into your Today view, you have access not just to the system's built-in widgets,
Yeah, this is ad
but
copy.
also these great third-party widgets as well.
I don't think I wouldn't say it's
And when it
suspicious in
comes
any
to
way, but
sharing,
it's interesting that
you,
they
of
have
course,
time to talk
all
about
of the
this.
system sharing options, but also those of the third-party apps.
Whatever
you
they're going to
use
show,
the
it's not
most.
going to require
So
an
with just a
hour-long
single
demo.
tap,
And
for
Remember how
from almost
quickly they got
anywhere
into
in
it
the
last
system,
month.
You can post,
Very little time
to
spent on
Evernote.
how well our stores are doing.
Also added support for third-party actions, the ability to edit your photos using third-party filters without even leaving the
Although
Photos
they have
app.
had some hiccups with
And
iOS 8. So I think that
access to
this
your
is
documents, not just in
let's do a little
iCloud,
bit of a reboot
but
on
also
how
in
great
Box,
it is
Dropbox,
and forget about
just about any other box
some
where
of
you
the
have
issues
files.
we've had over the last month.
Now,
You're right, and
also
also with all the
have support
with the
for
big live stream
third-party
audience, they know that they're not just talking to
So
press and
whether you're
analysts; they're also talking to customers who are interested in this stuff.
Yeah.
They're also talking to China right
Maybe
before the big
maybe
Chinese
part of
launch.
that 43% who haven't upgraded yet.
Right.
or communicate in your native
this is why
language
you-
of Klingon.
This is why
iOS
you want to
8
upgrade.
Has you covered. Believe it or not, this is
For the
actually in
Klingon
App Store.
keyboard.
So, yes.
This
Go
caps lock
Klingon.
key has no armor.
So next up, HealthKit. Developers have really embraced HealthKit.
This time,
So when
it's
you're
gonna
taking
work.
a run or cycling with Strava, all of the data about your workout, activity data goes into your health
What is the
profile
timeline
in
on that?
HealthKit.
It didn't work at
With apps like
first,
Lifesum,
and they
they're able to
fixed it, then it
combine
broke.
activity information
Wasn't ready, and then they
about your
didn't
eating
mention it,
habits
and then
to make a custom
Is it
diet
working now, Andy?
recommendations.
HealthKit,
You
yeah.
have
Okay.
apps like ShareCare's Ask MD.
There's just
which
not
are
a
able to
whole.
take your
Well, the
profile,
really
including
great stuff
things
with
like
HealthKit
data
though
from your
requires that you
Bluetooth
have
scale or
additional
other
sensors and
sensors
additional
to
services to make it
person
work.
to offer a personalized
Built in,
health
it works nice. It's going
consultation.
to be great when you have a
And we've also
relationship
given
with your
developers
doctor
access
who can
to
dump
Touch ID,
information
which means now,
direct
you wanna get into
straightly through email
E-Trade
through the
or
internet
unlock your
to this
passwords in one
stuff.
password.
One of
And
the
do
one of the
it
issues
very
Dr. Mom points out a lot, though, is that there's no FDA approval
Yeah.
yet.
then
right.
there's Metal. With Metal, you get direct access to the power of the 64-bit A7, A8 and the amazing GPUs they have inside. And so whether you're racing around the track in asphalt,
Craig, get us to the
creeping
Mac
around
Minis you can wear as an
rooftops
insert
in
into your shoe.
Assassin's Creed Identity, or slashing your way through Gods of Rome, you can do so with unparalleled visual fidelity. Things you've
He
never
showed off a game or
seen
two on iPad
mobile
today that
platforms.
took advantage of Metal.
Yeah, but were they?
It's not the sort of thing that you can really show off.
It's hard to tell.
though.
Yeah, but it's that much better. yeah.
Swift, an entirely new programming language that we introduced to take development of iOS and OS X apps to the next level.
Either that or there's
Now,
like
Wired has
orange
said
smoke
that
pouring out of the
Swift's
Mac Mini
impact
down back
could be
there trying to
greater
get the
than
fire
any
out
other
before they.
language that has sprung up in recent years.
You think they're
It's
stalling?
mass adoption faster
You think so?
than any
No.
language
Talk more about
in modern
chamfer angles.
history. And from everything we can see, they are right. We've seen a flood of applications written
These
in
applications,
Swift in the
starting
App
at
Store
top left,
already.
are.
And our enterprise partner,
looks like the watch-
IBM,
they're trying to get people used to the
completely
watch
embraced
interface.
Swift
Yeah,
for their
exactly.
custom
Lots of
enterprise
little-
applications.
This is what your
Isn't it
watch is going to look like.
They've said
All this
that
time, and
Swift
they
is
still are not
incredibly
talking about
interactive
Beats
and
at
intuitive,
all.
giving the thousands
That's
of
interesting to me.
developers on our teams the flexibility to create powerful apps that will transform enterprise mobility.
I wonder if they're shutting Beats down since AT&T has been instructed to stop selling it.
Rebranding.
They wouldn't put it on the Apple TV if they were shutting it down, though,
There'll be
right?
many new Swift programmers being
It'd
minted
be interesting that
every
they
day because
wouldn't
major
use the
universities
Apple push during the holidays.
Right.
have incorporated Swift into their programming curriculum to teach new students.
Who
this
knows? Maybe
awesome
Dre and Eminem will come out at the end of this thing. One more thing, and here they are.
update on iOS 8. Now let's turn our attention to iOS 8.1.
There we go.
Now, needless to say, when we put a major new operating system in the hands of hundreds of millions of users, we do get a little bit of feedback. And that takes us to improvements. So one of our major goals, of course, with iOS 8.1 is to address the top sources of customer feedback, and of course, to even bring back the beloved camera roll. But not just that. We've added support in
that's good.
8.1 for Apple Pay on iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, and the public beta of iCloud Photo Library. So now everyone can have every photo you take on all of your devices. And this means that any organization you do or any edits you make on any device are instantly reflected on all of your devices. And this is true on your iPhone, your iPad, and you can even access your photo library on your Mac or on your PC via iCloud.com. Now, this isn't just your photos, it's also your videos as well. And they're in their original format and resolution, no downscaling. It's available in public beta with iOS 8.1, and it uses your iCloud storage. So your first 5 gigabytes are free. For just 99 cents, you can get 20 gigabytes more, and you can get a massive 200 gigabytes for just $3.99. So that's iOS 8.1, and a quick update on iOS 8.
When are we getting 8.1?
Now let's turn to OS 10.
He didn't say.
And Yosemite. So it was just
It's got to be Monday with Apple Pay, doesn't it?
Publicly unveiled Yosemite to the
right.
world. The reception has been fantastic. We've had over 1 million members of the Mac community sign up to be part of the Yosemite public beta. And the reception has been just awesome.
3 gold masters
We're all in love with the gorgeous new design of Yosemite. It's just amazing. It has this gorgeous dock with these vibrant icons, it's so precise. This clean,
Everything's
consistent
flat,
use
flat,
of
flat.
typography throughout the system. Notification Center is more useful than ever.
Except the Apple
Lets you
corporate
get at
structure.
all of your widgets just at a glance, including third-party content. And Spotlight has been absolutely supercharged. So now, in addition to searching content locally on your Mac, it also taps into sources on the internet. Things
You'd think
like
Yosemite
Maps
to come
and
out
Wikipedia, just
with
right there
8.1,
whenever you
right?
need them.
For
Of
continuity
course,
and so
all
forth.
of the apps built into Yosemite have been completely
Depends on how
revitalized
many
with
deal
this new
breakers they
UI.
found in the last
So
couple of weeks. I've been
Safari,
hearing
for instance,
complaints.
all the power of the world's most powerful browser.
I mean, they don't
are
have
packed
to. They
right
have to roll out
into that
8.1
elegant
next week.
toolbar right there at
Good
the
point.
top. If you want to get at all of your favorites, just tap in the address field. They're right there. And if you start typing,
Yeah,
you
this
don't just
really
get
is
Google
a
search
Volts
suggestions,
keynote.
You also get Spotlight
It's all
suggestions,
rehash, right?
which often provide the answer to your question
I would
without
back
even
off from
completing
calling it a
the
rehash
search.
and calling it.
It's
They
just
definitely
really
want to
fast.
make their
Now,
case to
Safari's
ordinary
better at
people or
sharing
people, members of the
than
community
ever
that
as
care
well.
enough
You can
to
share
be
system
looking at
sources
this instead of
and
actually
through
doing work this
extensions
morning.
to third-party
Program
sources
like
as well,
that.
right within the app.
They like pitching
Safari
directly to
users
their
also, of
customers.
course, love tabs. And
Well,
so
why
we have a
wouldn't they? I
great
mean,
new tab view.
You know, you get the
Provides a
most devoted
bird's-eye
fans who are
view of
watching
all
this
of your
live,
tabs, stacks multiple
and you get to
pages
talk to them
from
for an hour
sites
about
into
how
stacks
great you
like
are.
this,
It's a,
and you
it's
can
an
access
opportunity.
And these
tabs
are the
you have
people
open
who will
across
talk to
all
other
your
people.
devices, listed
So-
right there.
That
along the
you know,
bottom.
this is very few
Of course,
companies get this
Safari
kind of
is
opportunity.
Also blazing fast. In fact, when you look at the kind of JavaScript that's in typical websites, Safari is literally 6 times
I think
faster.
Microsoft would
than
love to
other
have the
browsers.
problem of, oh no, so
And
many
when it
people are
comes to
watching the live
battery
stream
life,
of our
no
new announcement that
browser
it crashed the
can
server.
compare
Right.
to Safari.
On the other
If you look
hand,
at
you
our
have to figure
13-inch
anybody who
MacBook Air, for
is devoted
instance,
enough to watch the live
browsing
stream
Safari
or
gets you more than
download the
2
video later
hours
is
greater
probably
battery
knows
life
most of the
than
stuff.
other
right?
major browsers. And with
Probably.
Netflix
But they'll also stick around for
3
what's coming
hours
next.
long.
So.
As
It's
we
also
are.
B-roll for everybody's news coverage and
Yeah,
everything.
let's not forget
design
that. Yeah.
extends, of course, to mail as well. It's not just gorgeous, but it's more functional than ever. Now,
One more
if you're
gorgeous
replying
and
to a
you're outta
message
here.
and you need to fill out a form,
Take a
you
drink.
can use markup. You can even fill out your
It'd
signature
be fun
on
to
a
actually
form right
compare
there
this
inside
walkthrough
the
to the
message. It's
walkthroughs they've done
incredibly
before,
convenient.
particularly
You can also
WWDC,
mark up
because you
your
can see how
drawings
they
and
refine
pictures
these
as well,
points and they get a little bit
a
more,
fantastic way to
they
communicate.
lean into the turns a little bit more
Now,
as they
Mail
go through these
also
points.
now has mail drop. So you can send absolutely enormous attachments, up to 5 gigabytes, securely encrypted through iCloud.
I like that
Messages
feature a lot.
has a beautiful new design, for Yosemite as well. And it has powerful features like named group chats, easy location sharing, and really convenient access to all the
It's so
photos
much
you
more
share
compelling
in
if it were
your
cross-platform,
conversations.
but you have to be talking to somebody on
iTunes has
iOS.
been updated for Yosemite
I will say
as well.
naming
It has a
group chats will be very
convenient
helpful to
shelf
me.
across
Yeah.
the top with
It
all of
sounds
your
like a little
recent
thing,
additions
but
to your
You don't
library.
have any friends who use
And then
Android?
there's
no?
iWork. It's the most
Windows
Well,
phone?
sure I do, but
desktop
those aren't the
productivity
group
across
chats I'm talking
all
about in
Apple
messages.
devices.
They're out of luck.
Great
Those are on
Yosemite.
WhatsApp.
They're out
addition
of
to
luck.
this
By
beautiful
definition,
new
if they're
design,
Android
it's more
users, then
functional
no
than
friends
ever.
We don't want to
It's
talk to
inside
them.
We talk about them in our message group chats.
documents
Like
that you
Johnny
have to
Carson
review,
with Joan
you can
Rivers.
update to
I should point
numbers,
out that
Banned from this
that
show.
Google's solution, Hangouts, is
transpose
cross-platform.
tables in a single step.
Uh,
And then there's Keynote,
as are all the other
customizable
messengers,
presenter
including
display,
Facebook Messenger.
and these cool new text effects. It's really nice.
Even
I just
Microsoft
want to know
doesn't
who
make
the
a...
Woo guy is.
The who? The guy who's going,
The woo. Look at this one.
yeah.
There's
He's a-
iCloud
Yes,
Drive.
text effects.
with iCloud Drive, you can store
He's going to be
any
sending an
file
email to the
in
CEO
cloud.
after this and
Accessible right from the
220,000 other
Finder, right from the
Apple
sidebar
employees
there.
saying he
You can
deserves a
access
raise.
the
I'm the woo guy.
That's right.
of all
Not
of the
waiting for
applications on
karma.
your Mac. But not just that, also the data that you have stored for applications on your iOS devices. And best yet, you can put any other files you want in there. And
So maybe they're
organize them
turning
however
iCloud
you
Drive
want,
on now.
Folders with tags. And
What do they
search
need to
them,
do to
and
do
then
that,
access
Andy?
them across all of your devices.
8.1 and
Your
Yosemite,
iOS
right?
devices, your Mac,
They definitely need
your work under
Yosemite.
extreme
I think
duress,
8.1 is
even a
also
Windows PC.
necessary, but I wouldn't hold myself to that.
No, it's true. It's both of those.
You certainly don't want to turn Cloud Drive on yet.
Because, yeah, it'll screw you up because nobody's running Yosemite.
Right.
Wonderful new user features in Yosemite.
But this is one of the more
Actually, what
important
makes
things that
both
Apple's done in the
Yosemite
past
Yes.
3-4 years, I
and
think.
Actually, I guess it doesn't need
special
8.1
is the
on your
way
iOS
that they
devices.
work together.
We have a switch to turn it on, but I've
Yeah.
been very reluctant to turn it
It's
on.
something we've been focused on for years now, and at the
Yeah,
center
no,
of it
this is one
iCloud.
feature. Anything that's
It's
going to be
almost
syncing
easy
across
to take
multiple
for granted
devices,
the way
I would leave that off for
edit
at least
our
a month.
contacts or update our
Not just for
calendar,
bugginess, but to
or Safari
understand what
bookmarks,
this
and we just know
tool
that
is
it's
going to
be
do to your
available to
data.
us across all of our devices.
25 minutes in, they're
Now,
still covering
with
old
Yosemite
ground.
and iOS 8,
Yeah.
all of our documents with iCloud Drive and all of our photos and videos are synced with our iCloud photo library. We've also advanced on technologies for our devices to communicate
You
in
really
proximity,
have to build
taking
faith in
advantage of the
iCloud.
most advanced
That is,
Wi-Fi,
they're
Bluetooth
almost to
low
the point where
energy
they'd have to scrap the name and start again.
So now, with the
So this is like the
latest
last
Macs and
chance,
iOS
the
devices,
very
you
last
can
chance for
actually
iCloud to
AirDrop
be
between iOS
become
and
trustworthy.
OS 10.
Apple Cloud.
And you can AirPlay to your Apple TV
Because it's
even
not
without
about you,
connecting
it's
to
about
any
Apple.
Wi-Fi network. It's really awesome. But the area where I think we've really taken it over the top is with something we call continuity. Now, with continuity, your devices are aware of each other and allow you to work at any moment with the device that's right for that time. It starts with Handoff, where you can work on one device and just pick up where you left off with just a swipe across the lock
It
screen.
was weird
of
the
another.
first time my
And there's
MacBook
instant
rang.
hotspot.
It's weird, isn't it?
It was really weird.
Regular data connection
Yeah,
with your phone,
I've already had
from
to
your iPad or your
instruct
Mac
4 people
without
on how
even
to make
touching
sure
the
that phone
in your
calls no
bag.
longer ring your
There's the
iPad.
ability to
You know, it's
receive
got to be
text
way
messages
better than Hangouts,
on
though, because
any
when they
device.
call you on
So now
Hangouts, you
everything
can't
rings.
find the
Also
call
send and receive
on your laptop.
I've been getting
any
2
of your
rings
devices.
on my phone. I don't know
And
why,
finally,
Yeah.
but it's ringing in
also
both
make it
Hangouts and on the
receive
phone. It's driving me
regular
Yeah,
nuts.
and you answer one and it keeps ringing on the other.
ringing.
Yeah.
Using your phone.
Well, my deal is
really
that like I send an urgent text message to somebody, then I
Try
find
that
out that,
home.
oh,
I'd like
the
to
reason
give you a
why he
demo
didn't get it
now.
is because Hangouts decided to do that as a Google Hangout.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, a demo. We're sitting down at the iMac to
All
see
right, well, so let's
continuity.
take a look at life in the world
Not
of
a new iMac?
continuity. Now,
That's
Not a new
Tim
iMac.
sent me a note here
We're
about
half an hour in with
doubling
no new
down
products.
on
In fact,
secrecy
nothing
at
new
Apple. We want to
at
preserve
all.
the same kind
Yep.
of airtight
They didn't even give us a date
security
for
or
8.1.
secrecy, rather,
They did that one
that, makes
data
the
item
announcements
is
that we
Apple
got,
Pay
like today,
launches
a
Monday.
shocking
Right.
revelation to all of you.
Let's see if we see Greg
I've
Joswiak
been,
again.
tasked to create a new employee orientation presentation. And so I've been taking some photos around campus about some of our new secrecy measures. We're tightening things down a little bit.
I'm going to
So we're
screenshot that to see who
redacting some
his
things in
frequently
the,
used
the
people are.
menu. We don't
This
want
is
any
good.
deletes
Apple's making fun
there.
of itself. This is
We've
good.
upgraded the door to Johnny's lab. And, you know, I should favorite some
Stupid
of these
fool.
photos because I think
Johnny's
I'd like
lab
to
does not have a
incorporate them
door.
in my presentation.
The scene would violate the integrity of the door
Straight
surface.
into the shredder.
This is funny. This is a good
And of course, we've increased the number of lasers on the path to the bathroom. So that's good. So I can incorporate this right here in my presentation. We've got my cover slide
Tripling
here.
down, that's a good-
And this looks like a good place to add that new content.
Now we know where
But you
Craig
I
was
like
last
that
time.
punched up this
He was
presentation.
memorizing this
Yeah.
presentation.
Continuity.
He hasn't looked
I
at
can just
cue
pick
cards at
up-
all. This is all
You
memorized.
notice in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, my iPad's aware of what I've been doing on my phone. There's a little Keynote icon. I can just swipe up, and it takes me right to that
This is
document
a
in exactly
long
the
monologue
place
to memorize,
where I
I
was
can tell
working.
you.
So it knows right where I am. And I'm just going to open this up, and we'll see that I can see my my photos here. Let me try that again. There we go. There are the photos I just favored. And just to show you that this is all completely live, I'm going to go back into my photo library here. I'm going to favorite this last photo with the lasers, give it a little heart. And you'll notice here on the iPad, it just shows up automatically right there.
Oh, really? Applause? Really?
That's super cool. So let's
They're
just add that
synced,
photo to
Leo.
my
They're
presentation.
synced.
Wow.
Syncing is very hot right now.
Phone could even be across
I've never once clicked that heart.
Me neither.
But now maybe I will.
Why. Now we know what it's for. We didn't know what it was for.
Coincidence. Right here on my iPad, this is a regular SMS. Now it says, "Hey Craig, check out the latest Apple rumor." Well, these are usually have no merit at all, but I'll just check in as what this is all about. Apple spaceship,
Infinite
actual
scoop.
spaceship. Okay, well, it turns out in this case, unfortunately, they did nail it. So this would be a good one to add as a cautionary tale to my presentation. Now, I could do that right here on my iPad, but, you know, I've got this beautiful Mac
we need
right
to start
here.
a site called Infinite Scoop now.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's a great name.
There's a giant quarter-mile-high statue of Xena, warrior princess, bending over to pick up what Infinite Loop
I
now.
click and it takes me right to that same page. It's just magical. And, of course, I can get to my presentation as well. We see I have iCloud Drive right here in the Finder, and there's my Keynote folder, and of course there's my presentation on secrecy.
Spoiler, he's about to
Open
call
that up,
Stephen Colbert.
And of course it takes me
Is he?
exactly to
Yes.
where I was in the presentation. So let's add my picture.
Colbert
for,
wrote the jokes for
controlling
this.
leaks. I can just
Perhaps.
drop that
Quite
one,
funny.
right in there. That's really cool. And
So we're that
next,
far
I'm gonna
behind on
move
the
to
stream,
next
huh?
slide in my presentation. And, you know, I heard that our new chief of secrecy, Stephen Colbert, has some concerns about his part of the presentation. And so, actually, I can give him a call from my Mac right here at his office. So let's just type up Stephen. There's his work number.
Somebody got a free
Right
iPhone.
here. It's gonna dial. My Mac's going to actually make a speakerphone call through my phone. And by the way, yeah, I have the coolest job in the world. I get to talk to Stephen Colbert.
Hello?
Hi, Stephen. It's Craig from Apple.
I'm sorry. I don't recognize that name.
Oh, right. Hello, Red Delicious. This is Granny Smith. Over.
Is the squirrel in the basket?
Roger, Foxtrot, Thunderbolt, Retina, Swift, Lightning.
Okay, the line is secure. Glad you called today. I have some critical feedback.
As much as I like Stephen Colbert, this
I have some very critical
is very
feedback on the
unnecessary.
content of your presentation today.
Well, it means it guarantees a slot on the show tonight. It also guarantees that it's also something that's definitely going to show up on the news tonight.
Sure.
Given that Fallon and Timberlake are doing their ads, I'm surprised they're using Colbert.
Yeah.
I guess Fallon wasn't
Let me
available.
run this one by you.
He's not up yet.
No,
Yeah.
because Fallon couldn't tone it down.
Allied commander of
Oh my God, this is great! Is it really Tim? Hi Tim, it's great.
know.
Jimmy, this is great. It's great to be here. Oh, I love your iPhone. The iPhone's great.
Allied commander was good enough for Ike. It's good enough for me. Okay, it beat Hitler. I would also
Gruber is saying it's the first Hitler joke ever in a keynote.
I think so. Godwin's Law finally paid off.
Supreme Commander.
You'll let Tim know?
Who?
I'm sorry.
sorry.
I mean Chairman
Can't take
Honeycrisp.
Oh, yes. Yes, absolutely. I will let the chairman know.
Let me know when they announce something new, will you?
Glad
Yeah.
to see things my way. Now,
Are you just out of here?
please,
We'll send for you.
Later.
you know what I do when I look
Across the street, get some
What is
pancakes.
going on? This
at my wrist?
Well, it's filler. This is all.
this is the ultimate waste of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jewelry, Craig.
There's no content at all here.
I'll
Yeah, he's
get
bad
right
humor.
on it,
Might as well be in Mandarin.
I think that
Granny Smith.
probably Apple got word that everybody likes Federighi so much. He's very personable. He's very charming. People want to see more of him on stage, and built this in thinking that it would be a slam dunk.
Yeah.
I'm glad we were able to sort that out.
And also to hammer home all these
We,
points right
one
before
more
this
slide
stuff
to work on my presentation here.
emerges,
an email
generate
update from
excitement,
Phil,
etc.
About a new badging protocol. So check out this
Yeah,
video.
I mean,
It really
everybody on
demonstrates
Twitter is complaining
Apple's
about
commitment
the
to badging
fact that they haven't done anything
Well, that's great. I'm gonna
newsworthy
drop that one in my presentation.
in now 35
You know, I'm
minutes.
sure it's a great video. So I'd like to play this now. And what's really cool is I have an Apple TV. We can bring that up here. And you can see I can actually AirPlay from my Mac to my Apple TV, just like this, and project my presentation that way, so we can enjoy the presentation I've put together. And of course, to control the presentation, you know, the best remote you have is the one you're wearing on your wrist. So I'll just bring up a remote here. Let's see. So there's our secrecy team. Of course, we've got the path to the bathroom. controlling leaks.
Dave Weiner
new
says,
Supreme
why
Commander,
reporters must not be
and let's take a look
cheerleaders.
at that
Interesting
video for
timing
Phil.
for that tweet.
So, they're still doing comedy?
Yeah.
Gee, I paid my bills. I got a mani-pedi, and they're still doing comedy?
Your hands look fantastic.
Yeah, that's good, though, huh?
Yeah.
See you at lunch.
I think for a joke this long, you really need Tom Hanks.
I feel like this is a Samsung moment for Apple.
Or Eddie Q.
Oh God, no! Come on, that's strong. That's painful. That's hurtful.
Yeah, painful.
It's just not that funny.
Well, that's the problem. You know, you have to be.
You know.
If you're going to do this, you have to be funny.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, we've been here for 30 minutes, so some actual meat is really necessary.
A quick overview of the amazing new Yosemite
it's
release.
not quick.
Its beautiful new design, powerful spotlight search, iCloud Drive, the amazing and elegant new Safari, and of course, these continuity
Somebody on
features.
Twitter says Apple keynotes are just one big dad joke.
Everyone's saying that.
But the good news is I don't have to, because now all of you can get access to Yosemite on the Mac App Store today.
Today. All right, finally, we've got a tidbit here.
All right.
That's good.
Things are looking up, people.
Sooner than we thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's available
Well, we didn't really know.
free. There's also 8.1, which has its support for Apple Pay, also iCloud Photo Library, and continuity available for download
On
this
Monday.
Monday.
Monday for
It's
8.1.
free as well.
All right.
So Yosemite today, 8.1 Monday, Apple Pay Monday. And that makes sense.
Yep.
Finally, iWork, an update
iWork?
for OS
It
10.
has been way too long. It's iWork. Who thought? Who knew?
Available today and also free.
Is this an updated iWork? Did he demo that? It's a continuity-based iWork.
Hasn't iWork been free?
I
think it has been,
yeah.
OS 10 Yosemite. Thank you.
Yeah, because it came preloaded on, I believe it was iPads last year, wasn't
Right.
it?
I'm confused. Is it the iWork that's been way too long? Because that's
No.
I wouldn't have thought
No,
that.
'cause that was
How
just
about
a moment.
iLife? That's really been a long
I've
time.
done on controlling those legs. I'd like to now talk about iPad.
I like to slow it down.
Let's do it.
iPad is this simple and magical device. It's always been a unique blend of simplicity and capability. But while the iPad has been beautifully simple on the outside since the very first one, it has advanced technology just jam-packed on the inside. From Apple's custom-designed powerful chips to the ultra-fast Wi-Fi and cellular connectivity to the incredible eyesight and FaceTime cameras. The technology is jam-packed in this incredibly thin and light package that you can take with you everywhere you go and use all day long.
And we really, really want to sell
And as
more.
we packed more and more power and more performance and more capability in iPad, our customers and developers had begun to use it in ways we could not imagine. And now as you look around, iPad
I have just
is
purchased
everywhere.
ChairmanHoneyCrisp.com.
It's transforming the way we
Did you really?
Yes, I did.
That's good work.
He's really starting to whisper now.
And it's transforming the way we communicate. With so many people using iPad for so many things in so many different places, it's not surprising that we've sold more iPads in the first 4 years than we've sold at any product in our history. In
course, it's
fact,
slowing
we've
down
sold
now.
over 225 million iPads
More than
around the
iPhones.
world.
I guess in the first 4 years of iPhones.
Yeah. They've sold about 500,000
this in a
iPhones
little
total
more
as of a few months ago. So
If you look at the top 4 by volume PC manufacturers,
This is really old stuff.
the number of sales
I
that
think
they've
I
done
think
for
they
the
had this
last
graph
12
2 years
months,
ago.
and compare that to iPad,
It's like a Gartner report.
iPad beats them all.
okay.
And this
Compare
is
that
their
there's only
entire PC
one maker who
lineup,
makes and
every
sells
notebook,
iPads. Is that
every
a big
desktop,
surprise?
every 2-in-1, every all-in-one, every toaster refrigerator in one.
If you
All
add
of
those
them.
together to represent interest in
This is pretty
non-iPad
fantastic, and
PCs,
not by a little,
that looks
but
kind
by
of
a
sad, does it
lot.
not?
But what's more important to us
It's kind of a meaningless
is that
stat.
iPad has consistently been rated #1 in customer satisfaction. This is what makes our hearts sing. An iPad Mini Retina has scored an unbelievable 100% customer sat.
Anthony, after this is over, can you do a cut down that's just the facts? I think it'll be short.
Yeah.
These numbers are,
And it'll
you
save
don't
people a
see
lot
these
of time.
numbers in customer
Fire up Vine.
And so why are so many
Yeah.
iPad
Just the new
users
stuff.
satisfied?
Yeah.
We think it comes back to this unique blend of simplicity and capability.
Hey, good point, though. The stream
And
is
the
working
fact that you can
perfectly.
do so
No
many
Chinese, no
things
truck.
Yep.
on
Nothing.
iPad, and you have such a great experience doing it. At the
Well, so much
root of
padding, it
this,
compresses down very
we had
nicely.
over 670
far too long.
It's like
They've
one
had
of
a
those
good stream.
vacuum pillow container demonstrators. You put the
advantage of the big beautiful screen on the iPad. And this is a huge advantage over our competition. The Verge said it well. A tablet is only as good as
The
what
log
you can
roll
do with it.
continues.
And thanks to the hundreds of thousands of apps for the iPad Air, you can do more with it than any other
He's trying to
tablet.
train the press to say
was
it's the
one
best
of the
ever,
reasons
and
they
then you
named
could.
the
Do you want to
be-
get in the keynote? Here's
Yeah.
how.
best tablet you can buy.
I don't think that's manipulative, but there are some people who will think, oh, I was going to say something very positive, but if I say something quotable,
Right.
iPad Air is
I
number
just
only
think
be good for
toxic
me.
health stew.
But it's also #1 in usage. It's #1 in education. It's #1 in enterprise. It's #1 in consumer. When we launched the iPad Air just a year ago, we did so by showing that all of this power of the iPad was in a design that was so thin, it was thinner than a pencil.
Peak
You may
whisper.
remember this. So what do you do when you make the best tablet in the world?
I don't know.
How do you make it better?
Make it thinner than
extend
a
the
chopstick.
battery life, improve the camera,
No.
allow
do
you to
this.
run multiple apps,
No. Good guesses, though.
lower the price so it's affordable for more people,
No.
and integrated mounts so the keyboard can attach and be used as like a laptop.
I don't think so.
I think he's walking us towards make it thinner, but that can't be it.
Yes, he is!
What everybody's been asking for, it's just too thick.
So thick.
Our new iPad will cut pencils in half.
That's right.
Ooh, smell of burning rubber. Is that really the image you want to have associated with the iPad?
It's even thinner.
And it's gold. The demo one is gold.
It is gold. Aha. iPad Air 2. Here, go back to numbers.
This
I have to applaud, too.
is the new iPad Air 2. It's unbelievably gorgeous, and look how thin it is. Can you even see it?
No. Where is it?
It is so
Gold
incredible.
is nice. I do want gold.
And to tell you more about it, I'd like to invite Phil Schiller up. Phil?
What is it thinner?
And will it bend?
Oh, yeah, it'll bend, baby. Oh, yeah.
There was
The only
definitely a
thing keeping it
memo.
from bending is the
No loud
glass.
pink shirts on stage.
Yeah.
Tell you about the incredible new iPad Air.
Well, it is kind of a black box theater,
It is
so
the
it's,
Yeah.
you don't want to jump it.
Well, we,
Well,
you know,
let's
last
wait.
time.
We got to see what Eddie Q looks like.
I suppose you're right.
Q is the one.
18% thinner than their first iPad Air, which was already 20% thinner than the iPad before it. It makes it the world's thinnest tablet.
Again, I
It is
think
incredibly
not what people
beautiful
are
to
looking for.
hold all day long.
They appreciate it, but that's
The progress
not
the
gonna
team has made
tip
over
them
the
doesn't
past
over.
sell.
couple years
What is the
What's
number
the
one
thinnest?
thing people are
You don't
looking
go in the
for?
store and say, "What is
Price?
the thinnest tablet out there?" That's the one I want.
Well, I
Price, capability, a lot of other
Battery
things.
life.
Battery life.
thin and light go
And you
together, and
sacrifice-
light actually does
Light
matter.
maybe, but they're not saying light.
No, that's true.
Battery life to me is more important. Now, iPad battery life is added.
But Sarah has a point. I mean, you hold one of these things, you hold this or a Kindle Fire tablet in your hand, and you realize that, oh, this is what I want to be holding for my 3-hour flight.
Yep.
But the thing is, it's not unique. Again, the Kindle Fire tablet is just as light. I don't know if it's lighter than this new one, but
in every iPad, there's been a
it just feels like nothing in your hand.
Air between each of those layers.
Is the Nexus
not satisfied with that,
9 what this is competing against at this point?
Bonded those together,
what is it competing against?
I don't think so. I think at this point, I think it's competing with these really inexpensive $300 and $400 Windows tablets now that can actually run on like these low-power Intel processors, but can still run Windows 7 or Windows 8 just fine. But cost less than a full-bore iPad.
Right.
I think they want to make the point that this is better in every way. It runs better software. It's optimized towards being a tablet. We will let you connect to Bluetooth. We won't tell you for doing that. But I think that if it's against anybody, it's not against any Android tablet.
This is something people have been asking for on iPad today. 56% less reflective. That was something somebody specifically asked for.
Absolutely. It's not, you know, a Kindle, but iPads have always been useless out by a pool.
Right.
You want to take your iPad on vacation, you might be in the sun. So this is very helpful.
Confirmation, it is the A8X processor.
Chip, A8X. You've heard of the A8 chip with the iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus, and it's blowing people away. Well, this is a new version created specifically for iPad Air 2. It is unbelievable. It's a second-generation 64-bit architecture. It has 3 billion transistors. The iPad Air had an A7 with 1 billion
Faster
transistors.
than what?
3 billion. It delivers up to 40% faster CPU performance for most of your apps. Some apps can achieve 2x performance.
Then in tablet, it's 40% slower.
And the graphics are out of this world. 2.5 times faster, what was already the industry-leading
Than the
graphic
Air?
performance.
Then what? The Air?
Just look what the team has done. The original iPad started with an A4 chip.
They're comparing it to the original iPad.
We're 12 times faster than that with iPad Air 2. But check out this graphics performance.
It's a lot faster than the Air.
We're now at 180 times
That is a big jump. Gaming is really important on the iPad.
Add to that,
especially if you're driving it towards a large display.
Like metal,
I think it's obvious that at some point they're going to be starting to position the iPhones and iPads as your home console gaming system.
I think you're right.
Without having to put it into a box or anything.
And even your home computer.
And that's what a lot of the developers are doing. Game developers.
They still seem to be sticking towards we don't want to make a toaster fridge, and a tablet that's also a desktop computer is a toaster fridge. I don't know if they're completely right, but they're not completely wrong either.
In such a thin package, the team
it is a philosophical thing.
All-day battery,
same battery life.
10 hours of battery.
That's the same exact. So they got it thinner without compromising
Along with the A8X, we have the new M8 motion coprocessor. This works to read data from the sensors like accelerometer and gyroscope. And it instantly calibrates it, so all your apps
when you're going
get
upstairs.
Accurate data. And there's also
it's not like they're going to take it out for a tablet. They're just going to use the same thing.
And developers can
so this is part of the iPhones.
Yeah.
But perhaps the feature people love the most about their iPads is the camera.
That is absolutely not true.
The built-in iSight camera. And some people have been surprised.
I love my iPad camera.
But is it the thing you love most about your iPad, the camera?
Is the best viewfinder for composing
well, but he's got a point. When you start taking video and pictures with that big screen, you'll like that.
Also, comparatively speaking, it's a crappy camera on the previous
Well, they
iPad.
need to improve this now. Let's see.
And videos. But developers like taking advantage of these cameras
8 megapixels?
to build incredible applications that haven't
That's
existed
another big deal.
on any other
Not just people taking snapshots, but developers taking apps making apps that take advantage of it.
Augmented reality and
Coach's Eye. Or consumer apps like Prismo that lets you scan and translate documents.
I think
on
they're
the fly.
going towards an 8 megapixel
Or
camera.
apps like Caribou that let a parent read with
It'd be great if they just
FaceTime to their
took the
children
same
from
stuff
anywhere
they got in the
around
iPhone
world.
6, not even the 6 Plus, and tossed it
Or
in there.
Home Styler that lets you create a virtual
Should have the
reality
6 Plus
image of
camera.
your own home.
There is no camera bulge.
But not
This
necessarily.
and hundreds of more applications take
The
full
only
advantage of
difference is the
cameras
image
we built into the
stabilization, and that's
iPad.
not key to the
And
improvement.
they, the developers and the customers who use
No
these apps
flash.
are going to love
Okay.
the new iSight camera. It's a huge jump forward for iPad. It's a full new 8 megapixel iSight camera.
f2.4. I think that is the same as
micron pixels. Has a fast
iPhone
2.4
6.
aperture. It takes photos and 1080p
not mentioning
HD video.
OIS, so you think you got it.
It has a great sensor. It's combined with the Apple design lens. But really what rounds it out is the brains behind it all. the image signal processing that's done in that 8X
I think that's
chip.
smart.
The nice thing about having a camera on an iPad is because editing photos or videos on an iPad is fun.
Right off of it.
You know, you got your little computer in your hands, and that's why I think that it's smart for them to take it seriously.
A beautiful
I agree.
And I don't care if it seems silly to hold an iPad in the air. People are going to do it. You might as well have a powerful camera.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the camera too. I just don't think most people do that, but it's good that they're emphasizing they want them to.
I'm with you. I thought it was silly, but every time I go through tourist areas of Boston, I see lots and lots of people holding up iPad minis and full-sized iPads. So I can admit that this is something that people like to do. So
No
I'm glad I'm
flash,
getting it using
so
camera.
it isn't quite the same as the camera phone.
Yeah.
Here's my favorite of the bunch. It's a
It's a
portrait
really
photo.
gorgeous
The
picture.
skin tones are just perfect.
Apple's
The
always done a
background
great
is
job with this
painterly.
stuff.
Yeah.
Amazing
I think
photo.
they'll move the
the
screen power button to the side like the
Look at the level
iPhone.
of detail in the feathers.
So you
can't
can
tell,
use
is
it to
that
shoot?
taxidermy?
Well, it's not just that, but just so it's consistent.
Right.
You know,
That
right
would be
now,
nice.
between my,
It's
you know,
weird,
6
yeah.
Plus and my iPad, I never know how to turn anything off.
Now, is it my eye, or do these photos look a little bit color-wise on the cold side? I'm used to seeing very, very warm, like golden hour demo pictures. I'm
lot of
watching this
blue.
on my iPad mini.
A lot of blue. There has been a
From last year.
complaint that there's
So taking something
a
that's high-speed
purplish
action, you can grab
tinge
it,
to the
just
new
like this
iPhone
photo.
cameras.
Yeah, isn't that incredible?
I haven't seen that.
I haven't either.
For the first time with the iPad
But I'm just-
iSight camera, you can do time
Boy,
lapse.
another
So here's
blue,
a
blue,
time
blue,
lapse.
blue demo
It's
picture.
taken in Venice. You maybe recognize it. Now, there's a group of boats
Not that it
are
means
start
anything,
coming
but
down together.
it's
See, there they
interesting
are.
to me.
That was the George Clooney wedding party that came by.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Clooney made it into the iPad event.
That's
Gosh,
nice.
Waiting for
I'm
my
happy now.
invitation.
That's a nice touch.
This we took recently in Albuquerque
yeah.
at the Balloon Fiesta, that gathering there. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Whoops.
One little
That one just died.
100.
We got one.
Also, for the first time on iPad, you can do slow-mo videos.
So they're
Yeah,
basically
customers
giving
gonna
it
love
the
taking
capabilities of the iPhone
120
6.
frames per second at 720p.
I think that's a very smart move.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Long overdue. I mean,
Yes. I never understood why they didn't put a better camera
You
in it.
heard
frankly.
that audio. There's now dual microphones to get better quality audio in your videos as well.
Stereo
In addition to
or
the
noise
all-new iSight
canceling?
camera and all those capabilities, there's a new FaceTime camera on the front side as
And
well.
how good is this?
A whole new FaceTime camera sensor, has a larger 2.2 aperture, lets in 80% more light, and combined with the 8X chip, you get improved face detection. For
telling
the first
us
time, you can
the,
do burst selfies,
resolution.
which kids love to do. This chip is amazing.
Kids love to
It
do
does
burst
HDR with a
selfies?
single image, not combining
Really?
multiple
Yeah,
images,
because
which
then
is
you
really
choose
sharp.
the best
Oh.
one
You
when
can
you're
do
making
videos
funny
with HDR
faces.
as
Burst
well.
selfie.
So with all
That's a
these
new-
great
You got
cameras,
kids?
That's a new
all this great
thing to me.
performance, also faster connection
Thirsty.
too.
Faster Wi-Fi is
iPad Air 2 is
AC.
faster Wi-Fi, 802.11
Yeah,
AC with
with MIMO.
MIMO.
That's good.
That delivers 2.8 times faster
Multiple in,
performance,
multiple
up
out.
to
I need a new router.
866 megabit per second throughput. There's also faster LTE with more
Yeah, I
bands.
upgraded to the Apple
There's up to
Airport
150
Extreme
megabit
for the
per
AC.
second. That's using carrier aggregation.
Everybody's
There's
using
20
AC
LTE
now.
bands. That's more than any other tablet. So it connects at high LTE speeds on more networks around the
Globally.
world.
Yeah.
But perhaps the most requested feature from customers is Touch ID.
Yay. Not a surprise, but definitely welcome.
Now, like many of us, if you have Touch ID on your iPhone, you've probably picked up your iPad and put your finger on the home button.
Yeah.
Do it
only
all
to
the
see
time.
that
I
it doesn't
talked about
unlock
that
because
in
you
my
don't have
episode.
Touch
Right.
ID.
I'm saying they're
Buy this
waiting.
app. Buy this app.
iPad Air 2, there is Touch ID, and it reads your fingerprint and quickly unlocks your iPad without having to enter your passcode. And it works with our stores, so you can purchase in the
You want the big
iTunes
one or the little
store
one?
and the App Store.
Is there a
And
little
it
one?
works with the new iOS 8
They haven't
developer
mentioned
apps
Retina
that
at
support
all.
Touch ID. So
They're,
you can unlock
well, they have
Evernote,
to
Mint,
because
or your
the
Day
Mini
One
will get
journal,
Touch
just
ID
with your
also.
fingerprint.
Right.
And as you know, all of us who use iPads, well, we're prodigious
Well, actually, I don't
shoppers.
know that, but I
We love to use
assume.
our iPad to sit back and surf the web and make purchases. And
True,
particularly
true.
with all those
Drain your bank
675,000
account.
apps, many of them help us make purchases. And now with Touch ID, you'll be able to use Apple Pay to make online purchases. Now, this
Online.
is for
I
retail
I mean, seriously, people with
point-of-sale
shopping
purchases.
addictions,
This is for
Apple Pay is
online
their worst
purchases.
nightmare.
And all the apps, they're going to support Apple Pay, and there are going to be many of them growing starting on Monday. So it'll be the best way to shop online. Of course, iPad Air 2 comes with a brand new iOS 8.1 that Craig just showed us and all the incredible features it has. And our developers have had a great time using the performance of the A8X chip and taking
He doesn't
advantage
mention
of all the
NFC,
power
chat room's
in iPad
pointing
2
out,
to
and
do
that
remarkable
means
things.
it won't be a mobile
Developers have
payment.
too.
He
We've given them
specified.
In-apps only.
Yeah, he specified on
iPad Air 2
buying
to see
online.
what they can do with their incredible applications. Well, I'd like to show you 2 of those this morning. The first is a great team. The two brothers started a company in Lithuania, and they've had a hit application on OS X called Pixelmator. Perhaps you know
That's a
it.
great app.
It's a professional.
It's interesting. It really points up the fact that Apple Pay is not merely a tap-and-go pay system, but in fact, Apple is going to do what Amazon and Google have done, which is provide back-end payments for online retailers. That's really maybe even more important, frankly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Where's his Infinity scarf? I
After
thought all
2 years
Europeans
of
wore
work,
Infinity
we are
scarves.
really excited to show you the new Pixelmator for iPad today. It's a full-featured image editing app. We are going to open a
Pixelmator's
4K
been
image
on
of
the
Arabian
desktop for
desert.
quite some time,
It's
and it's
really
a great
exciting that we
Photoshop,
can work so
inexpensive
smoothly
Photoshop
with large
alternative.
images like this. The new iPad handles those images faster and better than ever before. We created a graphic by using the shadow of the actual oryx in the sand and some text, which we'll bring in as a new layer. I'd like to place it here at the bottom, but I see there is a straggler oryx that would interfere with the graphic. So let's
straggler
remove the oryx
oryxes.
right now.
Happens to me all the
Is
time.
this the
my
new
day.
Oryx elimination algorithm? I think.
Our award-winning Mac version to the iPad, and it works fantastic.
Oh, this is
By simply brushing over the
fantastic.
oryx,
No more
our
stray
app
oryxes in
will
my
take care of
photos.
removing it, but still maintain the
time.
background. That is 2 times.
That is awesome, though.
Well, they chose a very regular background pattern for doing that with.
Well, okay, but
As
if
long
it
as
works
those
well in
oryxes
general,
stay in the sand.
that's pretty cool.
Until the oryx is gone. Let's place the graphic back at the bottom and size it to
Oryx
fit.
magic.
Now, let's blend
We
the
need a new
graphic
game,
with the background
Oryx Simulator.
to complement the color of the sand.
Just this jerk oryx who
Next,
ransacks
I'd like
the
to
sand
apply a
Really be
dunes.
better than a
enhance
goat
the
because
color
of the
and
long
darken the
horns.
edges
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
We can adjust the depth and strength of the effect.
He's like Wolverine with
Notice
blades in
the
his
very
head
fast response
and an
Are
ungulate.
those adamantium
So,
horns?
that's a quick peek of Pixelmator
Snicked.
for iPad coming later this month in the App Store.
I'm just trying to give you a wow
power of the
factor
new
here, guys.
iPad is perfect for the new Pixelmator.
You gotta learn how to sell these
We've
apps.
seen improvement of up to 3 times in many aspects of the app. It's a fantastic pairing that will make image editing a breeze.
Papers,
Thank you.
please. Pixelmator is a great product and nice on the desktop. And that shows you that there are certain productivity tools like image and video editing that the iPad is very well suited to.
It's called Replay. It's from a bunch of brilliant scientists from France.
Well, of
And to
course
tell you
they're
all
brilliant.
about it, I'd like to bring up Jeff Boudier to show you what they've been up to.
They're really pushing the global element here, as they have in the last few keynotes.
With Replay, you can use your iPad to create amazingly rich videos
Well, we got a pink
without
shirt.
knowing anything about editing.
It's French, it's
Use like
okay.
a fan
Still
of-
not tucked in.
Let's take a
Little
And,
lavender.
so many videos.
So note to
Often we
Halloween
don't have time to
cosplayers,
do
you tuck in the
anything.
shirt, you've blown the,
Like these
the
videos from a
cosplay.
trip in Utah. To make a nice movie edit out of all this, it would take me hours of work, right?
What?
Well, let's select all these
Vraiment?
clips and see how long it takes Replay to make a
Not
movie.
long.
Interestingly, both of these are direct competitors to
movie
what they
is
give
To
you out of
Adobe.
the box.
What just
And
happened?
Adobe.
Remember that Apple does
In one tap.
not like Adobe,
Thank you.
historically.
In one tap, Replay analyzed all my videos, added beautiful motion graphics, and synchronized
Martian
everything
graphics?
to the beat of
Motion.
music.
Oh,
Okay, let's do it again, but try a different style.
this is also a competitor to Google, isn't it? And
I love this style. Replay runs computer vision algorithms.
I like
to
this.
Find the
I would
best
use this.
accent color
It's
for
lovely.
each video
lovely.
I almost don't really understand
What's going on?
Yeah.
runs 20 times
It takes all your
faster than
videos
using the
and
CPU.
adds
make them
Martian
beautiful
effects to them.
Martians from the space.
It's basically
The red
Google's
planet.
auto awesome
Awesome.
movie. Yeah.
But you control it, ish, sort of.
Nice.
Oh,
I love
yes.
how Replay picks the background colors to
Where
match
are
the
the
video.
oryxes?
Now I want
Does
to add a text
anybody
line. Let
want
me show you how easy it is.
backgrounds and
Utah
frames
road
and-
trip. just as easy. I can add captions, trim videos,
So it's made for a presentation of some kind, I guess.
Well, or you can upload it to your favorite social directory.
Social directory? What's that?
I don't know. But if you have one,
You just
you can...
made up social directory.
I did.
I think that's like, you know, your Dropbox account getting hacked. It's social.
Now,
And it's a directory.
I'm really excited to show you something never done before on mobile. It's very Hollywood.
Oh, yes. Very Hollywood.
See how the light interacts with the text? I can even set the lighting color while my movie is playing.
Oh, wow.
This effect is called volumetric lighting.
Actually doing that in
Replay
real time
renders
is pretty
it
impressive.
in real time on the iPad. Yeah. This is truly desktop class performance. We believe video creation should be easy and instant. With this new iPad and Metal, our vision becomes reality. This new style will be available end of October, and you can get Replay for free on the App Store today.
Very nice.
We can't wait to see what you'll create.
Apple's still...
I would have paid $5 for that.
I would absolutely.
Yeah.
Did he say $5?
No, it's free.
Wow. In-app purchases.
Well,
of course, if you want some of those.
One would think there's probably
Martian effects.
some Martian filters in there.
175,000 apps.
Wish Apple would cut the bezels.
Unique advantage of
so complain about the iPhones and
now. Apps
instead of thinner,
make it smaller.
Mobile device that previously would have taken the highest-end desktop computers to do. And you can do this anywhere you go. So this is the new iPad Air 2, packed with an incredible range of new technologies and innovation. Next generation Retina
told us
display
what the
with
res
no
on the
air gaps
FaceTime is.
and
Probably 2
anti-reflective
megapixels.
coating. Our second generation
I also
64-bit
haven't talked about the
chip
screen
for
density.
iPad, the
presume it's the same.
3 billion transistors.
Improved
New
Retina display.
8-megapixel
But
And also
eyesight
with
camera,
so much
and all
content,
those
they just don't have enough time to go into every single detail.
Ultra-fast 802.11 AC wireless and 20 bands of LTE for fast performance
And of
around
course,
the world.
there's a mini
and of course,
version.
the most requested feature, Touch ID. All of this packed into the thinnest iPad we have ever made. You just have to hold it outside when you get a chance to.
I'm sure it's a gig of
to
RAM
see just how
again.
incredible this is. It will blow you away. So if you want to get one, and if you're like me, you're just dying to, what will it cost? Well, first, it comes in
the same
silver, space gray, and the new gold that you've seen here.
I'm getting gold.
And it starts at $499. That's
Same
the price of the previous iPad Air.
And the one before
Wi-Fi
that, and the one
16
before that.
gigs.
Gotta go gold. That's a lot of gold.
For 64 gigs, that's $100 less than before. It's
lovely.
And $699 for 128 gigs.
all right.
Again, $100.
They're cutting the price on the extra memory, which they should, because
Much
that
more
was
power, great new
heck of a market.
features.
Well,
thinner
especially with
device,
sales
and more
slowing,
affordable.
they want to make it
There are
attractive.
also cellular versions for $130 more, and that is the new iPad Air 2. At the same time, we have an update today for iPad Mini as well. We call it iPad Mini 3. It's the third generation of iPad Mini.
Mini
It
3.
comes in silver, space
5
gray, and
megapixel
gold.
camera. Oh,
And of course, it includes the new Touch ID feature as well.
Ouch.
It will start at $399, $499, and $599. New memory configurations.
See, this
and
to me,
cellular
this is a
versions
better
as well.
camera.
And both
Yeah.
will
Smaller.
That's a little bit
iPad Air
disappointing.
2,
That's-
iPad Mini 3.
More people are going to be using that as a camera.
I would hope. I wish they would, but
Really proud
apparently
of this.
I expect more of these big guys. That's too bad. 5 megapixels. That's the same, isn't it? As
So
it was
those are the
before.
two new
I think
lines
so.
of iPad. iPad Air 2, iPad Mini 3. We're going to keep iPad Mini 2 and iPad Air in the line and reduce them by $100 so
good.
everyone
Very
has
good.
something at each price point.
Yeah.
So those are more
That'll help
affordable
the
as
sales.
well.
They needed to break the
And
$300 price
the original
point.
iPad Mini, we're going to continue to sell it now at an all-new price of just
$250.
$249. Previously it was $299. So that now
Nicely
means
done.
our lineup has the lowest price point ever for iPad, $249. It means iPad 2, Mini 2, and iPad Air have been reduced by $100. We have an all-new iPad Mini 3 and all-new iPad Air 2 at the high end with more features and capabilities in the thinnest iPad we've ever offered. So a lot of changes up and down the entire line. To get iPad Mini 3 and iPad Air 2, you can start to order them tomorrow. We'll take pre-orders
Shipping
tomorrow,
next week.
October 17th, and they'll begin to ship
Does that mean I'm staying
by
up
the
till
end of
midnight?
next week.
I think you are.
Okay.
So that's iPad.
Okay, so from left to right.
I think this graphic says a lot in a very simple image about the things we create.
I think they may disappoint.
How incredibly
it's been way too long. What has been way too long?
There's got to be. They did a One More Thing last month.
Even better and to do even more.
I mean, why call this event that if you make no mention of what has been so long?
It then challenges us at the higher end to move those forward as well. And nobody's better at that than Apple.
M5 has it in the chat room. It's the show that's been way too long.
We have the best lineup.
The event itself.
It has been way too long.
That joke was made about half an hour ago.
Okay.
It's been way too long since the last joke about how long it's been since they started.
Mac compared to the rest of the industry, this is based on the last quarter. The Mac grew 18% year over year, while the rest of the industry didn't
Now
do
we get
as
to
well.
the Mac. I'd love to see a new Mini.
And the reason is very simple. Our customers love their Macs.
We do.
This summer we updated MacBook Air. It got faster, better battery life, better value. People
no
bought them
Retina.
like crazy, and the
Yeah, but does that number also affect that people have been waiting for the Mac Pro? That was like 3 years worth of pent-up demand.
But did they sell that many? Joanna Stern getting a second plug.
Really? See Joanna's?
That's her second.
And she is in the audience here too.
For customers who want a higher level of performance, they love the MacBook Pro. It delivers
Walt
all-day
Mossberg
battery
says
life,
the best
incredible
MacBook Pro
performance,
ever made.
and best of all, that beautiful Retina display. Now, it's been really fun to watch the migration of the Retina display. It started with iPhone, moved into iPod Touch, and moved into iPad, and then into the Mac with the MacBook Pro. Well, today, we're really happy for you to see the continued march of this incredible Retina technology and the next step we're going to take with it.
All right, here we go. What are we getting? Picture of an iPhone. Picture of an iPad or two. And a Retina MacBook Pro. All right, all of these exist. But the hydrangeas blossom on, is it a Retina? It must be a Retina. So this is a
Retina
Retina
iMac.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a 27 too.
Everything's been Retina up to this point, right?
You just put your face right up to it.
iMac with Retina
guy.
display.
This has been widely rumored.
We are so excited to tell you about the all-new iMac with Retina display. There has never been a desktop display like this. It is simply stunning. You have never seen a level of detail.
Doesn't look like a new
display.
design for the
You'll see with
but
this
just a
iMac.
new
It is
27-inch
truly remarkable.
Retina. Is it 4K?
It's a 27-inch display that has 5,120 pixels by 2,880 pixels.
More than 4K.
That's
If you're really
5K.
fast with math, you know that is an insane 14.7 million pixels on one display. It
That's
is the
nice.
world's
All right, I'll take it.
highest resolution display.
I'd love to see a
Really?
cinema display with
Incredible
this capability, too.
Of engineering.
From
Alex has
call it the
9
Retina
screens open,
5K
refreshing the store page.
So to put it in context,
Let's have a cinema display,
we all look
5K
at
cinema
TVs
display.
all day. They're 1920 by 1080. Let's overlay those pixels on top of the Retina 5K display. There are 7 times more pixels on the Retina 5K display
Apple
than on your
making
HD
you feel
TV.
bad about technology that's serving you well since 1954.
It's impressive.
Let's compare that to
It
the
is.
new standard 4K digital cinema. And there it is, 496 by 2160. The Retina display still has 67% more pixels than that.
amazing.
It is stunning. What's more remarkable is the work of the engineering team to fit those 14.7 million pixels into our beautiful iMac design that's just 5 millimeters.
If you don't turn it all the way, it looks like
It's an
it's
incredible
At the
feat of
edge.
engineering.
Yeah.
It took a lot of invention. It starts with the chip that controls the display. It's called a timing controller, or TCON. One didn't exist to drive this display quickly and efficiently, so our team had to invent one. It started with having to create a new material, oxide TFT, to be able to charge those pixels quickly and evenly
I
across
do
the whole
get
display.
quite a bit of lag on my
It meant
4K.
taking technology from our Retina iPad display.
What's organic passivation?
To reduce crosstalk because those
Well,
pixels are getting
it
so
reduces
close
pixel
together.
crosstalk and
saves energy.
Yeah.
Passivation?
Yeah.
I don't know, but
I've never heard that word before.
Technology, an LED backlight that's just as bright as previously, but consumes less
Feels
power
somehow
and
like
is
less
thinner.
than
Now they're just
And all
making
put
words up as
together,
if one
this
bit.
new display with 4 times the number of
Organic
pixels of the previous version.
Passivation, I gotta look that up.
It's less annoying than passive
The
aggressivization.
long-awaited follow-up to Chinese democracy.
In chemistry, passivation refers to a material becoming passive that is less affected by environmental factors.
Film, so it looks better off axis
So there's a word.
It is a remarkable feat of engineering and the most
Nice that
beautiful
it uses less
display
energy, too.
for everything you do. When you read text, looks incredible.
wanna see a
crisp and
cinema
sharp with
display.
magazine quality.
Danny Sullivan
If you work
says
with
on
photos,
Twitter,
you'll have
you know,
never
this is
worked
great,
with
but
desktop
I
display
just want an
with this level
external
of
display.
detail when
That's
you
what I'm
photos.
saying, because I
That's-
have a Mac Pro.
Yeah.
I want to run my Mac
You don't
Pro
need the iMac.
with this. Yeah.
You've never had the ability to do 4K video editing, pixel for pixel.
So does Joanna
Over
Stern,
and
sitting in the
over
audience.
timelines.
I want to see that quote on the screen.
Worked so hard on
Now
this
I want a
beautiful
Retina
version of
Thunderbolt
OS X.
display. Joanna Stern,
Never
Wall
did
Street
a
Journal.
display.
Let's see that.
Great new user interface. As beautiful as this new Retina 5K display. We have a brief video to tell you a little bit more about it.
The Mac enables people to do amazing things. And for many people, it's the most important creative tool that they use. And what we really love doing is making it better. On an
And
iMac,
Riccio
the
was a
experience
recent
begins with the
acquire.
display. And now we're really proud.
Or has he been there a
to
while?
introduce the first iMac
He's the
with a
VP
Retina
of
5K
hardware
display.
engineering.
Looks a little like Nick Bilton. There's some glasses on him.
With 14.7 million pixels, this goes way beyond HD. It gives the ultimate all-in-one computer
replaced,
the ultimate display. And it means you see incredible detail
guy.
on a scale that
He's
just
been there
hasn't
since
been done
98,
before
huh?
on a desktop. We started by moving to an oxide TFT, or thin film transistor panel. Oxide TFT is needed to get these many millions of pixels to charge quicker and then stay charged longer. We manufactured an oxide TFT-based display more precisely.
What's really
than
curious
it's
is
ever
what
been
they're going to
done
use for
before.
GPU on this.
One of the great results is the vivid brightness you see
lot of
across
dots to
the
drive.
whole screen. Communicating to all of those pixels requires a lot of brain power.
You'll like it so much,
In a
you'll throw your
display,
kids in the
it's called
pool.
the timing controller, or TCON. The TCON tells every pixel what to do and when to do it. For this new Retina display, a TCON didn't exist that could do the job. We had to create it.
There's a bandwidth
single,
issue on these
incredibly
4K
advanced
displays.
chip is responsible for
Requires
directing millions of pixels.
Dual Thunderbolt to drive them.
Whether you're looking at photos, or text,
Actually, not
or even editing
Thunderbolt
4K
2 or
video,
dual
the
DPI.
picture is stunning. We've also improved the contrast ratio, so you'll get brighter whites and darker blacks from any viewing angle.
When I'm working on imagery, I need to see the details in it to make accurate judgments of color and exposure, to be able to make it look on
That's why we
screen
want a cinema
exactly how it
display.
appeared to me when I saw it in reality.
For this display to be possible, millions of pixels have to be driven with more energy
I
efficiency.
just wonder how
Use
much of this is
power-saving
just
LEDs
lost on people who
in
don't have
organic
20/20
passivation,
vision.
which
I mean,
enables a
I have to
clear,
sit way back from my
signal
monitor
to be
because
sent
I'm
to each
farsighted.
pixel.
Am I
think
really going to get much out of a
This is
5K
for the
monitor?
pro market. Don't you think, Andy? This is
actually decreasing
to
its
get the
power
pro
usage
market
by
to
Zooming
move to
way
an
in
iMac.
on a photo
Yeah,
and
I
doing
think
some.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely for video editing and photo editors, and it's safe to think that they're going to take the same path as they did with the original MacBook Pro Retina, where this is going to be too expensive and not practical for most people, but within a year or two, this will be the standard display, just so that they can have that real impact. When people go to an Apple store and they see an iMac with this display, they'll say, oh, why the hell was I even consider buying anything else?
5K display and all of this new capability. The
Plus,
new
human beings
27
are not
inch
rational
so much
creatures. They
talk
want the best.
about this, though.
we've ever
But
built.
yeah, that's also making a case for an external monitor makes sense, right? Because you want it to
Yeah.
be
I mean, they could-
attached to something that's more powerful.
Right.
Would have been interesting if they made the Mac Mini more powerful and said, oh, by the way, we also have a 5K display you can buy externally, which also pairs so well with our new Mac Pro.
Throughout the product line, we've updated everything to make it the best iMac ever. So if you look inside it, it has the fastest chips we've ever put in an iMac.
Quad-core
It starts with a
i5.
3.5 gigahertz Intel quad-core i5.
It's gonna have to have a dedicated
upgradable to
GPU.
4 gigahertz i7.
We're the only company that's done the same thing that every company has always done, which is constantly upgrade everything.
M290X.
Upgradable to a 295X.
So this is a
Well, how fast is
Radeon.
that?
That's
The
interesting.
previous fastest chip in an iMac
Not NVIDIA.
was 2.4 teraflops of compute power. Not bad. This is 3.5 teraflops, 45% faster than the previous version. I/O is faster as well. It is now Thunderbolt 2, 20 megabit per second bandwidth per
Mac
port.
Pro's using NVIDIA.
It's faster storage, standard
GPUs.
terabyte fusion drive. And it's all built together, like all of our products, in the most environmentally friendly manner, including supporting the latest Energy Star 6.1. So it's a very efficient desktop product. So what does this amazing state-of-the-art new iMac cost? Well, let's make a comparison. If you've ever tried to buy a high-end display, for example, a new 4K IPS TFT display.
See, this always gets me worried when they say, here's how expensive other things are.
Yeah. Display, but still not bad.
Tesla S cost $83,000, and its display is not Retina.
So that's why we're really excited to tell you the new iMac with Retina 5K display is going to cost $24.99.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah,
that's affordable. That's not killer. Actually, I apologize. The Mac Pro is AMD as well. It's Fire Pro.
We throw in an entire computer. It's got a 3.5 gigahertz i5
They're all
standard,
in on AMD.
Radeon R9 chip, 8 gigs of memory, and a terabyte fusion drive. And it starts to ship today. So that is the new iMac with Retina display. It joins the rest of the iMac line. A 21.5-inch iMac starting at $1099, 27-inch iMac starting at $1799, and new iMac with Retina 5K display at $24.99. I can't wait for you all to see it and experience the incredible images that it produces.
Chat room's telling me that the AMDs are better at higher resolutions.
I think it's the perfect fitting to the 30th birthday.
I'm glad they still have a 1099 21-inch. It would be great if they could just knock another $100 off.
Mac Mini.
Mac Mini. We're getting the very first Mac. It's called Mac Mini. Perhaps you've added one to your own home network.
It's been way too long.
New version
I'm
today.
surprised.
It's updated with faster processors, 4th generation Intel Core processors, faster graphics, Intel Iris and HD Graphics 5000, faster storage, PCIe-based flash storage, faster Wi-Fi, 802.11ac, and now has 2 Thunderbolt 2 ports.
Somebody's pointed out that the Dell 5K monitor is $2,500, so you get a free computer when you buy it from Apple.
It is not only compacted, it is the world's most energy-efficient desktop computer, which is really great. A lot of customers choose this for their first Mac.
Glad to have that updated.
Previously, Mac Mini started at $599. The new, faster, more capable Mac Mini starts at just $499.
Very big deal.
Yay.
Wow.
That's a very big deal. That's a response to the market, which is really driving these PC prices way
The minimum, think of it as the minimum buy-in to get into Mac, and that needs to be $499.
That's a very good price. That's great.
Let me turn it back to Tim.
I think that's very good news.
That might be my favorite news of the day.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Boy, I want to see a cinema
It's
display.
very cool stuff.
Have you noticed the Mini isn't part of that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there are a lot of missing products in there.
It's a design thing, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Of products that Apple has ever had.
It's still sort of like the
We believe that
stepchild.
Each one of these play a very
I'm sorry, I didn't mean
important
to
role.
defend stepchildren out there, but you know what I mean.
People need different types of technology
I'd love to see them show
for the
pride
way
in
they
the
live their
Mac Mini.
lives. We all do different things. In fact, many of us and many of our customers use more than one of our products every day. Sometimes you want to sit at your desk in front of a huge, beautiful, immersive screen packed with powerful technology. And we've made that much better today with the Retina 5K screen for iMac. Sometimes you want to take that powerful technology with you wherever you go. And we've made our notebooks even better this year with MacBook Air and MacBook Pro. Sometimes you want to be close to your content, touching it. And we've made that experience even better today with the iPad Air 2, more powerful and incredibly thin. Sometimes you want to hold that powerful technology in the palm of your hand. And there's no better thing for your hand
Sometimes you want it lashed
than the
to your arm.
iPhone 6 and iPhone 6 Plus. And soon, you can wear that powerful technology right on your wrist. Now, This incredible lineup of products and the ecosystem that supports them is something only Apple can create. They're designed to be incredible products individually, but they're also designed to work together seamlessly. And because we create both the hardware and the software, we can deliver something that no one else can do. A
Massive
simple,
profits.
intuitive, and yes, a magical experience for our customers. This is our vision of personal technology, and we are just getting started. I'd like to thank all the teams at Apple that have worked so hard for not only this year, much of what you see here is multi-years of work to bring these products out on top of all the other things that you've seen during the day. They are doing the best work
Apple
of their
TV,
lives.
never mentioned.
And I and the executive team
That's
really
next year.
appreciate it.
Well, will it be next year or will it be never?
I want to invite all of you to come across the hall to get your eyes on this Retina 5K display. You're not going to believe it. It's killer. And to hold the iPad Air and see how thin and powerful it is.
Did they say what the availability was for the
next
ears?
door so that you can try out
Start
Apple Pay if you haven't
pre-ordering
tried it yet.
tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
You can be
that's
among
tomorrow.
the first to buy something.
And a week
on it.
later.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for joining us.
So Tim Cook wraps up the Apple October special event, one of really only 3 times a year Apple tells us anything, at WWDC, the September iPhone event, and what is normally an iPad event in October this year, a little bit more than the iPad. We saw
I wouldn't
new
even
iMacs.
really say the emphasis was on iPad in this event. It really seemed like a good 45 minutes of stuff we already knew. iPads.
Awfully long
Macs.
time spent on
It
that.
seems to me in different product areas they lurched forward in the past, and now they're bringing everything up to parity. They're bringing the iPad up to parity with the iPhone in some respects. They're bringing Retina to the iMac.
They did that last year, though. They updated every single product in the product line last year at this October event, in fact, as I remember. Is that right, Andy?
I can't.
They announced
recall.
the new Mac Pro. I remember they touched every product line except the Mini.
The new Mac Pro was at WWDC. That's when they first announced it.
Right.
They didn't ship it until for a while there.
Okay.
I don't think that they did a soup to nuts upgrade of everything back then, because they were also doing interim bump upgrades to the MacBooks at that time, and they didn't. I don't think they mentioned the Mac Mini at all back then.
So let me recap in order of when you can get stuff. So today you can get Yosemite. It'll be on the App Store for free for all Macintoshes going back a couple of years. I don't know. They didn't say how far back. But today you can get Yosemite. Monday, iOS 8.1 and Apple Pay ship. Tomorrow you can order a new iPad Air.
I presume at midnight.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. Yeah, I would guess midnight.
I would assume.
You won't get it for a week, but pre-orders are opening tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry?
I already see the update for the operating system.
So the internet's now going to break.
Yes.
As everybody all at once tries to put Yosemite. Yeah, I see it too. Do I see it? No, I don't see it. Son of a. And then, so the new iPad Air 2 does add Touch ID, an 8-megapixel camera. In fact, a camera, it looks to spec-wise to be the same as the camera in the iPhone 6. A new FaceTime camera, they didn't specify the resolution. Touch ID as well. Also a new Mini, but the Mini is a 5-megapixel camera.
Right.
Touch ID as well.
They barely talked about the Mini.
They said, and there's a Mini.
Yeah. It was just sort of thrown in the lineup.
They pushed how much thinner the iPad Air 2 is. They didn't mention that on the Mini. So we don't know.
To what extent do we think that not emphasizing the Mini is a way to not take away sales from the iPhone 6 Plus? because they're getting to the
There's
point
starting
where
to be
they
some overlap at this point,
yeah,
isn't
exactly.
there?
So I think they're almost. It's almost as if they're giving or sending that part of the market over to the 6 Plus.
I don't know. I don't think that anyone's ever been confused as to what the iPhone can do that the iPad can. I mean, the iPhone is a phone. The iPad Mini is not.
Screen sizes are unchanged, so you can see the range here. This is last year's now, but this is the Mini and an iPhone. Here we go.
But
and an
I think
iPhone
it goes
6
the other
with the Mini.
direction.
There's still quite a distinction.
But if you have an iPhone 6 Plus, you're not going to go out and buy a Mini. You would be crazy to do.
Really?
That.
I don't think you want to call people crazy that might want both. They are two different things. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm still not going to read a long form article, even on my huge iPhone 6 Plus. On a Mini makes a lot more sense. That size does matter.
Apple also announced a new iMac and a new Mac Mini, which we're very pleased to see.
Mm-hmm.
The new iMac is kind of a stunning 5K 27-inch iMac. Highest resolution display out there. $2,500 a starting point. And given that Dell is selling a 5K display for the same price without a computer, it seems like actually a fairly aggressive price.
It does.
They dropped the price $100 across the board on the Mac Mini. That's very good. Now a starting price of $499, and as you pointed out, Andy, that might be the most important announcement, at least getting people back into the Mac fold. And now we know with the invitation, it's been way too long, man.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Mini and the Macintosh.
And I think that Apple is clearly well aware that the iPad has lost market share quite a bit. You know, over the last 4.5 years since the tablet revolution started. But being able to bundle it in with some actual really good announcements, 5K iMac screen, new Mac Mini, which is something that people actually wanted, and then new iPads, makes it a lot harder to say, well, the iPad wasn't really updated that much. This has been lackluster. And I think that probably going forward, they'll continue to do that.
A lot of attention on the Air, though. And as you pointed out, just a quick mention of the iPad Mini. And somebody in the chat room, I want to confirm this, says that they said it was the A7 in the iPad Mini, that they're not. Is that correct? It's the A8X is the new processor in the iPad Air with the new Motion co-processor, the M8. If that's the case, that they're not updating the processor on the Mini, I think that would lend credence to what you're saying, Mike, that they just don't see much of a market now.
They're really making an effort to make sure that the high-end thing is way high-end. If you look at the iPhones, I mean, the iPhone 6 Plus has additional benefits beyond just the big size, including the optical stabilization. And even all the way up to the iMac, only the high-end iMac has a Retina. Within the tablets, there's significant improvements in the processor and also the camera that is not available in the smaller one. So the larger devices, they're making a point of saying that the larger devices always have stuff beyond just largeness.
Yeah. And yes, Jeff Needles is confirming that the iPad Mini 3 has a powerful A7 chip. So they really didn't do much to update it. They added Touch ID to both of those iPads. They're going to continue to sell, by the way, the older iPads, giving them a low price point, the lowest price point of $249 for, what was that for, the original iPad Mini?
Right. It's interesting that they're keeping an original non-Retina iPad anywhere in the price line.
Remember they did that last year, though, with the iPad 2. We really couldn't figure out why they were selling.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. They must have a market for it, that they have some sort of guarantees in place that they have to sell it that way.
Perhaps education.
Maybe education. I can't. It's maybe they're a little bit. I wouldn't say intimidated, but at least highly aware of competition from smaller Android tablets. Although, in the past, I don't think they've had any trouble saying, "Well, look, yes, ours cost about 20% more than the competition, but ours are at least 80% better than the competition, so we're okay with charging that much more."
Yeah.
I also think,
that's an interesting point.
Yeah, I think people make too big of a deal of Apple's declining market share in tablets too, because what it's being compared against is a weird, unique situation in the history of consumer electronics where they were so dominant for 2 years after 2010, 2011, all the way through. There was nobody else. There was literally, they had no serious competition in that market. You've never seen a new product dominate a new category like the iPad did. And of course, they're going to lose market share because, of course, the Android devices are coming out. There's no way they could maintain the market share they had in that market. And so I think it's overstated. They're doing very well with iPads.
It may also be that people don't, because phones are getting bigger, don't really feel the need for a tablet. I think the tablet market might have stalled out in general.
I think it closely mirrors, how often someone will buy a new MacBook, a lot more than a new iPhone.
Right. I see. Because it's essentially a computer.
You don't need one every year, every few years. That sort of thing. That's kind of how I feel about my current iPad. The new iPads look great, but
is Touch ID and a better camera enough to drive you? Certainly not thinner.
I think that the better camera is going to be more important to people than Touch ID. Touch ID is great, but you don't, it's not going to impede your iPad experience too much.
I love the fact that they have their low-end devices being the old device. There's something very elegant about that, rather than the sort of Samsung approach where you have this huge range of brand new devices, brand new cheap ones that have never hit the market before, brand new high-end ones, whereas Apple just kind of leaves a trail as they move forward in time, and that's an efficient way to offer a range of prices and capabilities.
Andy?
I was just going to say that the tablets are unique because it's a sometimes computer, not like a phone, not like a laptop, which is an always computer. And people are still, I think, feeling their way around what the role of a tablet is going to be. Look how much stock Kindle is putting into their new Kindle Voyage, making a premium version of a Paperwhite ebook reader, because I think that there's a niche for people who just want something that's highly optimized towards reading. I think it also kind of is a nod towards how Android's whole message about their tablets is that we don't want you to think of this as a glorified ebook reader. We're not even going to try to tell you to what is your verse today, what song are you going to sing with our tablets. That no, we're charging you a few $100 for this thing, but you're going to get a lot of value out of it because it is in many ways as good as a notebook, which is not something that's not true of the iPad, but it's not something that Apple seems to be emphasizing with the iPads.
The other thing that's interesting is that, of course, every consumer electronics manufacturer who's making a product that's been around for a few years has to grapple with the commoditization of each category. Phones become commoditized, tablets become commoditized. Tablets become commoditized very quickly because it's basically a slab of glass. So, yes, it's thinner. Yes, it has better this, better that. But still, they're facing this commoditization process, and that's why continuity is so important to Apple. It's not just that whether the iPhone is a better phone. If you're in the Apple universe using iCloud, using continuity, then you can't have an iMac, a MacBook Pro with Retina, an iPad, and then an Android phone. They don't want you to be able to do that. They want you to feel compelled to have each component of your consumer electronics universe be an Apple product because of continuity and because of iCloud.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. I think that's about what we expected. Really no surprises. The only question mark at all was what have we waited a long time for? And I think we now know it's a mini update and perhaps an iMac update. Although the iMac isn't particularly old, the previous version. And I presume they're going to continue to sell those. Final thoughts, anybody? Sarah?
Well, I'm excited about a gold iPad.
I like gold.
Gold iPad Air 2. Yes, I'm starting to get confused. We've got a Mini 3 and Air 2. Okay, the numbers are staying. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I am one of those nerd people who takes a variety of photos with her iPad, and I will not apologize for that. And I'm glad that the output's going to be better. In general, really, it's the photo editing and video editing to some extent on my iPad that I find it to be an absolute joy. And some of that is pictures that I took on my iPhone that I'm pulling in through PhotoStream. So, to have all of this work seamlessly is really where iOS shines. And Touch ID is nice as well. I'm probably not going to spring for a $2,500 Retina iMac. But by looking at my own Twitter stream, especially people who have jobs in design, it sounds like a lot of people will.
Yeah.
I would really want to look at the performance before I'd rush out to buy one. I'm a little concerned. It's an awful lot of pixels, 14.7 megapixels to push. Remember, and it's not beyond Apple to release a screen that it can't drive. Remember the iPad 3, which a lot of people complained was sluggish. I would, before you run to the store, and apparently you can get this today, you might want to go to the actual Apple store and play with it a little bit and make sure that it isn't a little bit sluggish.
Because again, the people who would be most impressed by such a nice screen may tend to be industry professionals who don't want anything sluggish because performance is of utmost importance.
I have a 4K, admittedly not an Apple 4K display on my Mac Pro, and it is there are issues. There's tearing, there's some slowness, there's some slowdowns, and they became more pronounced with Yosemite. But of course, that's a beta, so we'll see what happens with the release version.
It is also true, though, that in general, despite glitches and performance issues in the early versions, in general, once you go to a super high resolution screen, you can't go back. And so this is one of the benefits of these Apple. I've experienced that where I tested one and then went back to my Mac and I was ready to shell out for a Retina.
Yeah, be careful about going to look at it.
You can't go back.
Don't look at it, Marion. Don't look at it.
Yeah. I also think we were talking about it earlier and kind of joking around about it early, but the sort of stealth preemptive promo for China, the iPhone in China, was very clear that, Tim Cook was posing in front of a flag of the Chinese flag for a long time to give it, because that's the picture that's going to be in all the press. Yeah. And they made a big pitch again for the phones without people thinking, wow, why are they doing this? It's for China. They need China to be huge. They have a lot of challenges in China. And so they're using this event in part to, number one, push phones in China. Number two, get everybody thinking about Apple before the holiday season. And, it was not a whole lot of surprises. I think it's clear that the biggest surprise is that they didn't use the T word, TV. And so it's like, the name of this event could have been, well, it's going to continue to be a long time. But it's like it raises serious questions about what's going to happen with that TV. It's been so long since they upgraded it. Everybody else is moving pretty fast, lining up deals. Amazon's got a big push for games and children's content. Where is Apple in all this? They're going to go through another holiday season with nothing to really offer to people. For the holiday season for their TVs, it seems like there's something weird there.
Well, I mean, as opposed to what holiday seasons when they did.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is just not Apple's forte.
Yeah.
Well, but they've been making really clear signs that they're distancing themselves around from the classical description of the Apple TV as a hobby. And wasn't this, I think, the first year, or it might have been late last year, but very recently, the first time they've actually mentioned numbers and how many of these Apple TVs they're selling, or at least how much revenue they're creating. And that's the level of attention that product gets when it starts making be with $1 billion a year and generating money for the cause. You're right that it's kind of odd that they seem to be letting Roku run away with it. They're letting Google start to run away with it. They're letting all these other companies develop loyalty. At this point, I've got my Roku 3. Before coming in here, I was not watching. I've got an Apple TV and a Roku 3 hooked up to the good TV in the living room. I only ever fire up the Apple TV when I need something specifically Apple, which is almost nothing. And so people just develop this loyalty towards this one thing. And it's not because I love the Roku. It's because this is working great for me. Why would I switch to something else? So I think that they might run a risk of letting the ball run right past them without having to take a swing at it. We also didn't see Retina MacBook Airs, which is, I don't think anybody really expected to see that. Not even nothing about larger iPads, but again, I don't think anybody seriously expected to see that. It really does lend a different perspective into the first half of this whole talk, where they really did recap iOS. They really did recap everything they talked about last month and the month before, trying to present a case that we're creating a collection of hardware that goes and operating systems that work really, really well together. So I think that when they do make an announcement about the Apple TV, it is going to be almost its whole event. It's not going to be, here's the end of the year. Let's drag everything out of the hopper that we haven't talked about yet in the previous things, because so many bullet points: gaming, streaming video, HomeKit, even HealthKit, really, iBeacons that are really tidily solved and addressed by having this cool $99 box somewhere connected to your TV set. It's too big a thing, and the Apple TV right now is too far behind everything else for them to be any other answer, but Apple's going to be doing something big, 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 big with Apple TV.
Well said.
I also think this is an Apple that is a little bit chastened by the market and has finally offered a $499 Mac. I can't remember a $499 Mac. It's been a long time. They have offered lower cost, $250 iPads. This is an Apple that sees people being very price sensitive and is trying to offer a product.
I think, honestly, of all the things that we talked about today and really over the last month, I'm most excited about Apple Pay. And that has nothing to do with hardware.
Yeah.
I am thrilled, and I hope it works as seamlessly as it's being promised to us.
Well, people who really know what they're talking about are very impressed by it, and I think the people who should be most thrilled are Apple shareholders, because this is going to launch their revenue into the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Also, it's exactly the product I think Apple really wants to be into for the next 5 or 10 years, which is not just trying to sell you a shiny piece of object, but to have a piece of the infrastructure that runs the world. So if they can now be like their own credit card company, where they are just, it doesn't matter whether you buy a new phone or not, you buy a new laptop or not, you are using this service and making our entire portfolio more valuable. That's just as important, I think, as starting the iTunes store, which it certainly helps to sell hardware, and that's a big effect of it. But it also means that they've got another. Imagine a world map like in Risk, and you just want to take that crayon and color in whatever parts of it are not currently colored in by Apple. And transactions are certainly it's like Northern Africa as a continent. That this is a big thing we have not filled in yet. Now here's China. Let's fill in China, because that's a big market that we've barely even touched. Because they're making a lot of money, but now they're starting to look for places where they haven't even. They're looking for pockets and sofa cushions they haven't even rummaged through yet. And there's still a lot of potential left.
The Apple Store is back up online. I've ordered a 27-inch iMac. We'll have that for review. They say October 28th to the 30th, so we'll let you know about the speed on Before You Buy and Mac Break Weekly. And we'll probably get some iPads in the house by next week. I hope not in time for iPad Today next Monday, but the following Monday.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sarah Lane, iPad. Go ahead.
Can you use that as a display for your Mac Pro?
I bet you can.
Yeah.
I bet
it's like the other iMacs. That would be an interesting display of strength.
Yeah. Gives you an extra CPU just in case.
If you're going to buy a 5K display anyway, hey, let's get a whole other Mac out of the deal instead of buying a Dell.
Right. Sarah Lane, i5 for the iPhone, iPad Today, and Tech News Tonight. Thank you so much for being here.
You're so welcome. I wouldn't miss it.
And I think we'll be seeing new iPads on iPad Today a week from Monday.
Gold.
Gold? All right.
Yeah. Well, I don't. You do what you like, but I consider myself.
I do like that gold.
I consider myself kind of a golden girl.
Mike Elgan, he is the host of TNT, and we'll be here back every Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 1700 UTC, at least until November 2nd, and then we will shift for daylight for Pacific Standard Time. And but we'll tell you that when that happens. November 2nd is when we get our special change. Andy Ihnatko is the host of Mac Break Weekly. He writes at the Chicago Sun-Times. Also hosts Ihnatko's Almanac at the 5x5 Network. Great to have you here today. Thank you, Andy.
This is a good one to be seated at a nice table with a beverage. I think if I'd flown 3,000 miles for this, there's lots of great news, but I don't think anybody who lives more than 300 miles away from San Francisco needed to make the trip for that.
I agree with you. Thank you, Andy. Thank you all for joining us. This concludes our coverage of Apple's October 2014 special event. I'm Leo Laporte. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.